Good morning. We're just waiting for a few more people to join in, and then we'll get started. I'm going to start in about 1 minute. Even if I'm talking to myself, we'll start. We're gonna start promptly at 10 o'clock. I don't know where everybody is today, but I'm gonna give it about 30 more seconds for some more people to join in. We're starting about 20 seconds. Good morning, Sacred. I'm going to start in like 15 seconds, okay? I just want to make sure we give enough time for people to join, and then we're going to dive right in. We're week 4, day 2. All right, so Sacred, we're going to go ahead and get started. I just wanted to pin that for those that join in late, because I want to make sure we're using every minute available. So, good morning, good morning. So we are in week 4, day 2, page 9. This is our opening activity, which is all based on everything we did on Monday. So you're going to do this on your own. So page 9, opening, you're going to do on your own. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into our new learning. So Monday we learned about dot plots. Today we're going to learn about histograms. So just reading the situation, another group of 40 people were attending a different event. The age of the people are as follows. So here are all of the ages of the people at the event. So there says we're going to create a histogram for this data. So if you've forgotten what a histogram looks like, please go back and review Monday's lesson. So what we did right here, and I asked you guys to do this ahead of time, was we took all of these ages and we divided them up by age groups. 0 through 10, 10 through 20, 20 through 30, 30 through 40. And then what I did was I tallied up the frequency of each age. So after this, after I set up this tally chart, I then flipped to this page and I made the histogram. And the way I made the histogram was I just set up a graph like we normally set up a graph. I put my age ranges, so 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, good morning, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, and so on. And then I created our frequency points. So to create the histogram, what I did is for each age range, so for example, 0 to 10, I came to my chart. For 0 to 10, I drew a line at the 1, drew it down, filled it in. Then for 10 to 20, there was also one, so I drew a line at the one that connected 10 to 20, filled it in, and I did that for all of our age ranges. And that's how I got this histogram. Okay? So I created the histogram ahead of time for you guys. I posted it up on the feed. You were supposed to copy it down. So now what we're going to work together to do is answer these questions. Okay? And the first question is, would you describe your graph of ages as symmetrical or skewed? Explain your choice. So what that's asking us is this graph up here that we created, our histogram, is it right skewed, left skewed, or symmetric? Okay? So when I look at this chart, what do you guys think? Is it right skewed, left skewed, or symmetric? To help you out, I'll draw the lines in. So my data goes up, then my data goes down. So that would be, anybody want to drop it in the comments? Left skewed, right skewed. Ah, very good. Ah, so Sacred. Left skewed is when we have lower points to the left, higher points to the right. But look how in symmetric they go up, then back down. There you go, Sacred. So this one would actually be symmetrical or symmetric. And the reason is because our highest data points are in the middle. It's okay, Sacred. I'm really tired today too, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to make some mistakes. So it's a symmetric graph because our highest data points are in the middle. All right. So our data went up, then our data went down. It's symmetrical because our highest data points are in the middle. So now the next question says, identify a typical age range of the 40 people. Why do you consider this a typical age range? So when they're asking us to find the typical age range, they're asking us to find the age range that the most people are in. Okay? So if we had to look at this histogram and determine which age range the most people are in, which age range would you say that is? The age range that has the most people in it. The age range with the most people. So the age range with the most people is our highest line, and that looks like it is the age range of 50 to 60 years old. So I see Sacred saying 60, I see somebody saying 50, but you guys got to remember, when we're talking about histograms, we're talking about a range. So your range would actually be 50 to 60, okay, because this line represents 50 to 60. So the typical age of the people would be 50 to 60 years, okay? So make a guess. What event do you think the 40 people were attending? Use your histogram to justify your choice. So there is no right or wrong answer to this, okay? All it's asking us to think of is an event where most of the people there would be 50 to 60 years old. Can you guys think of an event where most of the people there would be 50 to 60 years old? What's something you do as you get older? I'll help you guys out because this one might be a little tricky. So you could say that it's a retirement event. So a retirement event. This is where people are learning about retirement, things like that. We could explain away these young people by saying they're grandkids that got brought along because they were watching them. These people are people that are trying to plan for retirement. And then the most people there are people that are getting ready to retire. So we could say this is a retirement event. So number 5, how would you describe the differences in the shape of this histogram and the shape of the opening dot plot. All right, now, since you did the opening dot plot on your own, that was part of your warm-up, remember? You're going to have to answer this question on your own. Okay? So after you complete the opening, come back, make sure you also answer question 5. All right, so let's keep going. Sorry if I'm going fast, guys. If I'm going too fast, please just let me know. I just want to try to make sure we're keeping up pace and hit everything you guys need to hit so that you can get your algebra credit at the end of the year. Okay, so now it says the following histogram summarizes the ages of the actresses whose performances have won the Best Leading Actress category at the annual Academy Awards. Good morning, Kayla. So the Oscars. So it looks at all the females that won the Oscars and broke them down into groups based on their ages. So question A says, which age interval contains the most actresses and how many actresses are represented in that interval? So looking at this histogram, what age range had the most actresses in it? Can you drop it in the comments? Which one had the most actresses in it? The age range. Remember, it's a range now. Let me see if I can zoom in to make the graph a little bit bigger. Okay, so which age range? Oh, Sacred, you're on point today, girl. 24 to 32, she is correct. And she knows that because it's the highest line. So now we have to determine how many actresses are represented in that interval. And so my line, so this is 30 to 35. This line hits right about there, which looks like it represents 34. So the age range of 24 to 32 has 34 actresses in it. Okay, very good, Sacred. All right, so question B says describe the shape of the histogram. So remember, we're talking about, is it right skewed, left skewed, or symmetric? Okay, so when you look at this, when you look at your histogram, I see that I start high, then I go low. So would that be right, left, or symmetric? Drop it in the comments. Would it be right, left, or symmetric if we start high, go low? Oh, Sacred, I'm giving you a round of applause. Good job. So it is right skewed. Good job, Kayla. I'm giving you a round of applause too. So it is right skewed. All right, so question C says, what does the histogram tell you about the ages of actresses who won the Oscar for Best Actresses? Okay, so what does this tell us about the age ranges of the actresses that won the Oscar? So what I noticed is that most of the winners are between 24 and 40. And then after that, the number of winners just drops down. So let's write that for C. Most of the winners. Very good, Sacred. That's another way of saying it, is that most of the winners were younger. So most of the winners were between 24 and 40 years old. And the older you get, the less winners there are. All right. So, which interval describes the center of the ages of the actresses? Okay? So, we're looking at this chart. And now we kind of have to find the center of the chart. Okay? Now, in order to do that, I have to find out how many actresses are in each band. Okay? So we said 24 to 32 had 34 actresses in it. 16 to 24 has 2. Because I follow it over. Looks to be about 2. 32 to 40 has about 27. Because I follow it over, it hits about 27. 40 to 48 has, it looks to be 11. 48 to 56 looks to have about 3. 56 to 64 has 5. And then 72 to 80 has 1. And 80 to 88 has 1. Now that I know how many are in each band, I have to add them all together. So I do 2 plus 34 plus 27 plus 11 plus 3 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1 means there are 84. Okay? So if I divide 84 by 2, because we're looking for... Oh, Sacred, girl, thank you. I'm so happy you're here today, Sacred. So in order to find the center, we have to divide 84 by 2 because the center is the middle. So if we divide 84 by 2, it is 42. So we know our center age is going to be 42. All right. So which interval describes the center stage, the center age? So remember, an interval is like 10 to 20. So we have to come up here and find the interval that has 42 in it. And the interval that has 42 in it is 40 to 48. So the interval is 40 to 48 years. Because that is the range with 42 in it. All right, let's look at question E. Question E says, in which interval would age 72 be included? Okay. Now, which interval would age 72 be included in? Now, this is kind of a tricky question. And the reason I say this is kind of a tricky question is because in order to answer it, you need to keep this in mind. Okay? What this says right here is that when we're talking of intervals, okay, 0 through 10 includes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay? However, when you say 10 through 20, you start counting at 11. And the reason you start counting at 11 is because we already included 10 here. So this would go 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and so on. Okay? So when we come back to this question and it says, in which interval would age 72 be included? It would actually be included in the range of 64 to 72. All right. And the reason is because the higher number of the interval is included in that interval. Okay. So 64 to 72 would include 64, 65. I'm sorry, it would include 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, and 72. All right. So just to help you see, this right here is all of the numbers included in that range. Okay? So before I go on to the next page, give me a thumbs up that you're good, that you understand. We can move on. If you have any questions, drop them in our comments. Thumbs up if you're good. If you got a question, drop it in the comments. Oh, Kayla's good. All right, so let's keep going, ladies. All right. So I'm going to move the camera up a little bit just because we need to be able to see the whole chart now. Okay, so now we're going to look at another histogram and another different set of data. Okay, so this frequency table shows me for different sporting arenas, how many people can they hold? Okay, so for example, 17,000 to 17,500, there's 2 arenas that hold that many people. 17,500 to 18,000 holds 1. 18,000 to 18,500, there's 6, and so on. Okay? Now remember, they gave us this little note over here that says 17,000 to 17,500 means 17,000 through 17,499. 17,500 is not included. Okay, so these little thought bubbles are important. So the next step was to draw a histogram for the number of seats in the NBA arenas. This was posted for your guys' pre-work, so you see it's already made. So, but as you can see, I have my different ranges down here. And then I just drew a bar up to the number of arenas, and then I filled in my chart. Okay, so let's start answering some questions. What is the width of each interval? So what that means is pretty much what it said up here in this little thought bubble. Okay, so how many seats are represented by each interval? And to find that out, we are going to do 17,499, and we are going to subtract 17,000 from it. Okay, so this is the end of our interval minus the start of our interval, which gives us 499 seats. So according to this, each interval is 499 seats. Now, just to make sure that is correct, we're going to pick an interval from further down here, do the same math, and if it's correct, we should get the same answer. Okay, so if I look at 20,000 to 20,500, remember, our interval actually stops at 20,499 because 20,500 is included in the next interval. We're going to subtract 20,000, and then that gives us 499 seats. Okay, so each interval is 499 seats. Okay. All right. The next question says, describe the shape of the histogram. So is it right skewed, left skewed, or symmetric? Now, when I look at my data, this one's kind of a little tricky because I have 2 low data points at the beginning, but then I have a high data point. And then it just begins to go down, 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 down. Okay? So So what I'm trying to get at is these two data points may throw you off, but really when you see that there's so many other data points on this side, these two kind of get outweighed by these over here. So if we start high and then go low, we start high, go low, is that right skewed, left skewed, or symmetric? Right skewed, left skewed, or symmetric? Start high, go low. Right, left, or symmetric? Drop it in the comments. Starting high, going low. So Kayla, I can see why you're saying symmetric, but it's not. We're starting high, going low, so it's going to be right. It's going to be right skewed. So I'm going to write this. And then I'm going to go back and review a little bit. So Sacred, you are right. It is right skewed, okay? And here's why it is right skewed. Our highest data point is right here, okay? I drew the dot above it right here. I noticed that there's 2 points in front of it, okay? But if I ignore these 2 data points and I look at everything to the right of my dot, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more data points. And because 8 is so much higher than 2, I can ignore these first 2 and just look at this trend, okay? Because if I take off the first 2 and the last 2, it's still rightly skewed, okay? So this is right skewed. Kayla, in order for it to be symmetric, these points, this high data point would be more over here. And then you would see the uptrend, then the downtrend. Okay, does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up if it makes sense. Give me a thumbs down if you need just a little bit more clarification. Thumbs up if you're good. Thumbs down if you need more clarification. Okay, Kayla gave me thumbs up. Sacred, you good? Okay, Sacred's good. I know there's a third person in here. I'm not sure who that is because people come in and out. But if you want to give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, we're great. Okay. So, let's keep going. So, question D says, which interval describes the center of the number of seats? Okay, Jaden, I see you. Thank you. Okay, so now, in order to find out the center, we're going to do the exact same thing we did back here. We are going to add up all of our frequencies and divide by 2. So this is 2, 3, 9, 14, 19, 24, 26, 28, 29. So our total is 29. Then, in order to find the center, remember we have to divide that by 2. So we're going to do 29 divided by 2. So 29 divided by 2 is 14.5. So our center is 14.5. But the question says, which interval? So we have to find which... Hold on, guys. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we did that right. 14.5. So what we got to do? Or did I add right? I'm sorry, guys. Let me just check my work. I want to make sure I'm giving you the right answers. So 2, 3, 9, 14, 19, 24, 26, 28, 29, 14, 45. Okay. All right. I figured out what it's talking about. So I don't like this question. And here's why I don't like this question. The reason I don't like this question is because see how we have blank values here? Because we have blank values here, these high numbers kind of throw off all of these lower numbers. And because of that, when we find out our center value, it's actually a lot lower than what's on this chart. So I'm going to skip this question. And the reason I'm skipping this question is because I don't like how it's worded. Okay? So let's keep going. So now we have another chart. Okay? We have another chart. You guys were asked to do this on your own. What you did was you took all of these ages, you broke them up. You broke them up based on their different ranges. So for like example, 33, we put between 30 and 35. 40, we put between 40 and 45. 66 went between 65 and 70, and so on. And then after that, we made a histogram. And here's our histogram. From 20 to 25 had 1. From 25 to 30 was 3. 30 to 35 was 3. Okay, so I want you guys to make sure you're getting these. I posted these ahead of time. And so let's keep going and answer these questions. Okay, so what I want to do is, guys, give me 2 minutes. I want you to make sure you have this on your paper. If you don't, I just want to check something real quick. And then we'll move on. So make sure you have your chart filled in. Make sure you have your chart in. All right, so we are going to keep moving forward. Now, bear with me because we will be skipping questions, okay? So we made our graph. That was question B. We are going to do question C. We are going to skip the center, okay? And then we are going to do the shape of the histogram. So if you look at our histogram, here's the histogram we made. Our data goes up, then our data goes down. So what type of shape is this? If this is our histogram, is it right skewed, left skewed, or symmetric? So what is the shape of this histogram? Is it right skewed, left skewed, or symmetric? Right. Kayla, good job. It is sacred. Good job. So the shape is symmetric. Okay, and the reason it is symmetric is because our data goes up and then our data goes down. Our highest data point is more in the middle. All right, so then we had question D. Okay, question D gave us another table. We were supposed to take these same data points and put them into this table. Now, the reason we're doing it a second time is because if you notice, our ranges are different. So in our first chart, we did our ranges by 5. So 20 to 25, 25 to 30. This time, our ranges are counting by 10. So 20 to 30, 30 to 40. Okay? So we took the same data points, broke them up into this chart, and then we made our graph. Okay, I will give you a couple seconds to try to get down as much of this as you can before we move on. So if you notice on our x-axis, I have our ranges, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50. And then I have our frequencies, 1 through 8. Okay, so that is where my graph came from. So I'll give you about 20 seconds to work on that really quickly. Oh no, what did I do? Sorry, guys. All right, so I gave you 20 seconds to get as much of it as you can, but we're going to keep going. So now we're going to answer some questions. Use the histogram that you constructed in part B and D, or part B and E, I'm sorry, to answer the following questions. So what these questions are going to ask us to do is compare these two histograms. Our histograms when our ranges were counted by 5s, and our histogram from when our ranges were counted by 10s. All right, so why are there fewer bars in the histogram in part E than they were in part B? Okay, so the question is asking, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So why does this histogram have fewer bars? Okay, so who thinks they know why? Why does this one have fewer bars? Drop it in the comments. Why does this one have fewer bars? Anybody want to take a stab at it? I'll give you a hint. It has to do with our intervals. Why does this one have fewer bars? All right, I'll help you guys out. So why does it have fewer bars? It has fewer bars because I'm not sure what that means, Kayla. So it has fewer bars because, okay, we're kind of getting there. So it has fewer bars because the intervals are bigger. Okay, because think of it. Okay, Kayla, I understand. So think of it. When you're counting by 5s, to go from 20 to 70, you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So to go from 20 to 70 by counting by 5s, you're going to have 10 different groups. But if you're counting from 20 to 70 by 10, you're just going to have 5 groups. So the reason it has fewer bars is because the intervals are bigger. All right. So did the shape of the histogram in part E change from the shape of the histogram in part E? So what that means is when we made this graph, we said it was symmetric. And we said it was symmetric because our highest data point was in the middle. But when we look at this graph, what would we say the shape of this histogram is? Okay. Once again, my highest data point is in the middle. So it means I'm going up and then I go down. So would you say this is right skewed, left skewed, or symmetric? Is this right skewed, left skewed, or symmetric? Our highest data point's in the middle, so it is well, you guys are a little quiet today. So both of our histograms were symmetric. Thank you, Sacred. They're both symmetric because the highest data point is in the middle. Okay. All right, we have one more question. One more. Okay, so did your estimate of the center change from the histogram in part B to part E? So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to pause on this question. And the reason I'm going to pause on this question is because I want to take a deeper dive on my own time into how they're calculating the centers. Okay? And the reason I'm doing that is because the way I was taught to calculate centers doesn't really work with these histograms. So I just want to make sure I'm doing it correctly before I pass that information on to you. Okay, so it is currently 10:41, and here is where we are. I am going to give you your attendance code word. Okay, your attendance code word is going to be tomato. Okay, so your attendance word for today is tomato. What you're going to do is you're going to drop me a DM with that code word in it. That's how I know you watched and attended this live. Then what you're going to do is you are going to go back to this packet and you are going to make sure that you completed everything for today. So the first thing you're going to make sure you did is your opening, because you were supposed to do the opening on your own. That's page 9. You're going to make sure you added in all the notes that are written in purple and red. Then you are going to check back to find out the answer to this question, because I just really want to look into how to find the center of a histogram, how they expect you to do it versus how I was taught to do it. And then you're going to come back and make sure you get the answer to this question. Then on page 17, you guys have an exit ticket. You need to do this exit ticket on your own. Okay? Now, in order to make sure you guys are getting credit for your work, there are 2 things you can do. You can either take pictures of your completed pages, send them to me in a DM, I'll read them, grade them. Or if you don't want to do that, when you are done with this packet, just make sure you turn it into the school and I'll go pick it up and grade it. Okay? So, It is currently 10:43. If you guys don't have any questions, you're free to go. If you guys do have questions, please drop them into the chat. Please make sure, please make sure you're checking my feed to get the answer to this center question right here. All right. So that's it, guys. I will see you on Monday. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week and a great weekend. I still have 2 minutes left, so I'm going to hang around for those 2 minutes. If you guys need help, have questions, I'm here. Just let me know. All right. 1 more minute, guys. I'm still hanging around. If you got questions, go ahead, drop them in. If not, you can go. Just make sure to check back my feed to get the answer to this question right here. I love seeing these attendance code words come in, guys. Good job. All right, guys, it is 10:45. I'm officially signing off. Please make sure that you are checking my feed to get these completed notes and also for us to find out the center of our histograms. I will see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend.